Gentlemen, the pattern never lies. Let's look at the evidence. Relationships aren't magic. They are patterns. I have documented and analyzed over 1,000 relationship breakdowns, from infidelity to divorce court. What I found is a mathematical consistency. Every bad relationship had the exact same warning signs in the first 30 minutes of the first date. You just didn't know where to look. I don't give advice. I give you probabilities. And today, I'm going to teach you the algorithm to find the top 1% of women. You are currently operating in a market with the highest volatility in human history. The divorce statistics you see, those aren't just numbers. They are indicators of a market crash. Most of you treat finding a partner like buying a lottery ticket. You close your eyes, pick a pretty number, and hope for a jackpot. That is not a strategy. That is negligence. And in my world, negligence leads to bankruptcy. My name is Conrad Black. I haven't just studied the theory, I have lived the data. I have conducted over 1,500 private consultations with men protecting their assets. I have audited the psychology of over 500 women in clinical sessions, and I have personally field-tested these protocols on over 1,000 dates. I have seen every lie, every manipulation, and every red flag. And today, I am handing you my playbook. Let's begin by restructuring how you view this transaction. Most men view a relationship as a joint venture based on feelings. You meet someone, you feel a spark, a chemical spike of dopamine, and you sign the contract. You merge your infrastructure, your time, and your resources with a partner you haven't properly audited. Imagine you are the CEO of a Fortune 500 defense contractor. You are looking to acquire a smaller logistics firm to handle your most sensitive supply lines. A candidate firm appears. Their marketing is flashy, their storefront is beautiful, and their sales pitch makes you feel excited. But when you look at their history, they have breached contracts with their last 3 partners. They have a massive debt load. Their operational security is non-existent, leaks everywhere. And their CEO spends more time at industry parties than managing the floor. Do you sign the merger because the logo is pretty? Of course not. You would fire your acquisition team for even bringing the file to your desk. You would demand the P&L statement. You would look at the churn rate. You would conduct a forensic audit. Yet, when it comes to the woman who will raise your heirs and have legal access to half your net worth, you skip the audit. You buy the marketing. You ignore the insolvency signals because she looks good in a dress. Today, we are going to perform a forensic audit on the modern dating market. We are going to stop looking for soulmates and start looking for solvent assets. The first step in fixing your portfolio is understanding why you are currently buying junk bonds and convincing yourself they are blue-chip stocks. The core error most high-value men make is valuing volatility over stability. I had a client last year. Let's call him Client Alpha. A surgeon pulling in mid-7 figures, extremely disciplined in the operating room. But in his personal life, he was addicted to chaos. He came to me complaining about his fiancée. She was a firecracker, he said, passionate, fiery, but she was dragging him into endless emotional skirmishes. One day she loves him, the next she's cold because he didn't text back within 5 minutes. He told me, "Conrad, we have so much chemistry. The makeup sex is incredible." I looked at him and said, "You are confusing chemistry with anxiety. You are confusing passion with dysfunction." In the financial markets, high volatility is a risk indicator. If a stock swings 40% in a day, it is unstable. It is a gamble. Yet Client Alpha was interpreting this emotional instability as love. The source data clearly indicates that men fail because they select women based on entertainment value rather than operational capacity. You are hiring a clown for the position of chief of staff. The woman who is the life of the party, the one who is constantly posting on Instagram, constantly needing new stimuli, constantly bored, she is a high-maintenance asset with a negative yield. She requires a constant injection of your energy just to remain baseline stable. This brings us to the concept of the liquidity trap. Think of the dating market like the real estate market. There are 2 types of inventory. First, you have the on-market inventory. These are the houses that have been listed on Zillow for 300 days. Everyone has toured them. The foundation is cracked, the roof leaks, but they have a fresh coat of paint. This represents about 80% of the women you meet on dating apps and in nightclubs. They are high liquidity. They are easy to find. They are constantly available. And there's a reason they are available. They have been audited by the market and rejected. They have been pumped and dumped by smart investors who saw the structural rot and got out. Then you have the off-market deals. These are the estates that never hit the public listing. They are sold privately from one high net worth individual to another. These women are not on Tinder. They are not twerking on TikTok. They are busy building a life, studying, or working in low exposure fields. They are low liquidity. You can't just swipe to find them. The problem is you are fishing in the sewer and wondering why you keep catching diseased fish. You are engaging with the active inventory, women who treat dating as a hobby, or worse, a source of income and validation.
And here is the brutal truth about the active inventory. They are often infected with the upgrade virus. In my analysis of over 1,000 cases, I've seen this pattern repeatedly. A woman who spends her life in the market, dating apps, clubs, high social venues, is constantly being presented with purchase offers. She goes on a date with an architect today, a banker tomorrow, an athlete next week. Her dopamine baseline is destroyed. She becomes incapable of satisfaction. Even if you are a great man, a strong man, you are competing against the phantom portfolio of every other man she has ever dated or matched with. She remembers the humor of the comedian, the money of the banker, and the body of the trainer, and she creates a Frankenstein monster of expectations that you can never meet. You are looking for a woman to build a legacy with. She is looking for the next hit of validation. If you do not change your procurement strategy, you will inevitably acquire a liability that will default on you the moment a better offer appears on her radar. So, how do we filter the noise? How do we conduct this forensic audit? You need to stop listening to what she says. Words are cheap. Marketing is easy. You need to watch the metrics. I have developed 4 specific protocols, stress tests, that you must apply. If she fails one, the deal is off. There is no negotiation. Protocol 1, the origin audit, the supply chain. You cannot assess a product without understanding the factory it came from. We are talking about her family dynamics. I don't care how independent she claims to be. We are all products of our early programming. You need to look specifically at the chairman of the board, her father. In a functional acquisition, you want a woman who comes from a structure of respect. Look at how she treats her father. Does she respect his authority? Was he present? Was he a leader in the home? If she grew up in a household where the mother was the CEO and the father was a silent, beaten-down shareholder, she has been programmed with a specific algorithm. Men are utilities, not leaders. She may act sweet in the beginning. During the honeymoon phase, everyone is on their best behavior. But under stress, she will revert to the factory settings. She will begin to challenge your leadership, not because you are wrong, but because she lacks the internal software to follow. Case study: Client Beta, a wealthy architect. He started dating a woman who was charming, ambitious, very modern. He ignored the fact that she openly mocked her father at dinner, calling him useless and laughing about how her mother controlled the finances. 6 months into the marriage, Client Beta faced a business lawsuit. He needed support. Instead, his wife attacked his competence. She didn't offer a fortress. She opened the gates to the enemy. She saw his vulnerability not as a call to support, but as proof that, like her father, he was weak.
Protocol 2, the exposure index, public versus private equity. In finance, we look at a company's risk exposure. In dating, you must look at her attention exposure. There are certain professions and behaviors that make a woman a publicly traded company. I am talking about careers that necessitate constant male validation, VIP hostesses, event planners for nightlife, or what I call the receptionist syndrome. Any job where her primary function is to be smiled at by 50 strange men a day. Why is this a liability? Because her self-esteem is pegged to the market index of male attention. If she is working the front desk at a high-end gym, she is receiving micro offers all day long. A smile here, a compliment there, a DM here. When you and she have your first major fight, and you will, she has a backlog of 500 potential shareholders waiting to buy in. You must also audit the digital ledger, her Instagram. Is she posting content or is she posting soft-core advertising? If she is posting bikini photos, gym mirror selfies, or thirst traps, she is signaling availability. She is keeping the "for sale" sign on the lawn even after you've moved in. A woman who needs the likes of 10,000 strangers to feel beautiful is a bottomless pit. You cannot fill that void. You are one man. You cannot outcompete the dopamine hit of the entire internet. You want a private equity asset, a woman's whose value is reserved for the stakeholders, you and your children, not the general public. Protocol 3. The embezzlement check. Micro-betrayals. This is the most critical protocol. It detects the internal traitor. Most men wait for the macro-betrayal, the infidelity, the theft, the divorce. But the data shows that the macro-betrayal is always preceded by 1,000 micro-betrayals. What is a micro-betrayal? It is a small theft of loyalty. Let's say you're at a dinner party. You make a mistake. Maybe you spill wine. Does she help you clean it up discreetly, or does she make a loud joke at your expense to get the laugh from the group? If she sells your dignity for a cheap laugh, she is embezzling from the relationship. If she flirts with the waiter just for fun, if she is late and offers no apology, if she discusses your private financial matters with her mother, these are not personality quirks. These are breaches of contract. I call this the internal Padla theory. There is a traitor inside her. If she cannot suppress her own ego to protect your honor in small things, she will absolutely slit your throat when the stakes are high. You need to run a stress test. Observe her integrity when it is not profitable for her to be good. Does she return the shopping cart? Does she treat the janitor with the same respect as the CEO? If she is only good when it benefits her, she is not a moral person. She is a transactional opportunist. Protocol 4. The boredom paradox. Volatility versus value. Finally, we arrive at the most counterintuitive part of the algorithm. If you want a high-value merger, you must look for a woman who is boring. I know, this goes against every Hollywood script you've ever watched. You want the manic pixie dream girl. You want the adventure. But let me tell you what adventure looks like in a marriage. It looks like debt. It looks like drama. It looks like a woman who resents the silence of a Tuesday night. Real life, building a business, raising children, maintaining a home is 90% routine. It is boring. A woman who is fun, who defines herself by travel, parties, and spontaneity, has a low boredom tolerance. When the baby is crying at 3 a.m. and hasn't slept in 3 days, she won't find it fun. She will crash. The boring woman, the one who reads books, who has a quiet routine, who doesn't need to be in a club to feel alive, she has high structural integrity. She is your blue-chip bond. She is predictable. And in a crisis, predictability is the most valuable currency on earth. Do not mistake drama for passion. Do not mistake anxiety for love. So, what is the solution? What is the final algorithm? You must shift from a scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset. The reason you ignore these red flags is that you are afraid. You are afraid that if you fire this candidate, no one else will apply for the job. You must build a life so formidable, so high value, that you are perfectly content to stand alone. Only then can you negotiate from a position of power. When you interview a woman, you are not trying to impress her. You are the CEO. She is the applicant. You are auditing her for the most important role in your organization. Check the factory. Does she respect her father? Check the books. Is she addicted to public validation? Check for embezzlement. Does she betray you in small ways? Check the volatility. Can she handle the peace of a boring life? If the answer to any of these is the wrong one, you walk away. You do not fix her. You do not save her. You liquidate the position and you move on. The market is filled with volatility. Your home must be your hedge against it. Stay cold, stay analytical, and trust the pattern.